society is a society that if you knew everything about it, you would be willing to enter it in a random place. Now think about what a beautiful idea this is, right? If you're very rich, you want the rich to have money and the poor not to have money. If you're very poor, you want equality. If you don't know where you'll be, and you could be randomly assigned to each position, you have to consider all perspectives, right? And he called it the veil of ignorance. Why? Because you choose which society you want to join before you know where you'll be. It's not like blind tasting, right? Because you don't know which perspective you will have when you're doing it. Okay, so we asked a group of people what they want. And this is what people said. They wanted the bottom 20% to have 10.5%, 14%, 21, 22, and about 32. Now, nobody in our sample, and we tested about 30,000 people, nobody in our sample wanted perfect socialism. Right? Nobody wanted equality. People understand that have something about inequality, provides drive and all kinds of other benefits. The question is, how much do you want it? But what you can see is what people want is drastically different than what we think, and of course even more drastically different than what we have, and particularly focused on the fact that all of a sudden the poor have something. So we call this the desirability gap. Now, you can ask questions about, are different people different in that, right? So we have what people think is a just society. Is the definition of just society different for different types of people? So we try that. And we try to see whether liberal and conservatives are different. And they are different, but in a tiny way. For example, in one question, we showed people a distribution of wealth in Sweden, actually slightly more equal than Sweden. And we showed people a distribution of wealth in the US. We didn't tell them this was based on Sweden. And we asked them, which one would you like to live in under the veil of ignorance? 92% of Americans chose the Swedish version. For Democrats, it was 93. For Republicans, it was 91. So different, but very, very small differences. The same thing happens for rich and poor. Different, but very small different. Men and women. People who read Forbes magazine, basically more to the right. People who listen to National Public Radio, more to the left. We tried it in different countries. We tried Australia, England. We did also one study in Israel with all of them showing basically identical results. We also tried different departments at the university. Here we found one interesting difference. People who went to the Harvard Business School wanted the poor to have less money. But even that was a small effect. Here's another way to think about it. Imagine that we plotted the pay ratio of CEOs to unskilled workers in their companies. And what you have here is different countries and the ratio, 20, 30, 40, 50, it's perfectly on this line, so it's a little hard to see. Here is what people think it is. Okay. And then what happens when we ask people what the ideal is? You see the little blue thing in the middle? So what people think is the ideal is much, much smaller than what people think it really is. Okay, and then there's a question of what's the actual. And the actual you see in red